The laughter hit me first, sharp, cutting through the warm evening air like a blade wrapped in honey. We were all gathered in the cul-de-sac, the smell of grilled meat and gasoline drifting lazily between parked cars. My wife, Lena, stood across the lawn with a red plastic cup in her hand, surrounded by neighbors. Her laughter rang louder than everyone else's. Then I heard her say it. "If anyone knows where I can trade my husband for a newer model, let me know." Her tone was playful, teasing, but the sting landed anyway. People chuckled. I forced a smile, pretending it didn't scrape at something raw inside me. I'd heard her make jokes before, about my thinning hair, my long work hours, the way I left tools lying around the garage, but this one felt different. The way she looked around, her eyes landing a beat too long on our neighbor, Derek, the tall, broad-shouldered guy who'd moved in 6 months ago, made my stomach twist. He smiled back at her, that easy, confident grin I'd seen women melt under. And then he said, "Careful, Lena. Some trades are final." The laughter died. For a second no one spoke. Lena's face froze mid-smile, the red cup trembling slightly in her hand. I saw a flicker, guilt, panic, flash in her eyes before she looked away. I excused myself, claiming I needed another beer. My hands shook as I opened the cooler, but it wasn't from the cold. That night, the sound of laughter replayed in my head, looping endlessly. Every glance between her and Derek suddenly felt magnified, reframed. I remembered the way she'd started dressing differently lately. Casual but intentional. The late-night texts she'd brushed off as book club stuff. The way she'd begun locking her phone. Maybe I was being paranoid. Maybe it was all innocent. But that pause after Derek's words, it had said everything her mouth hadn't. Lena came into the room later, wearing one of my old shirts, her hair pulled up. "You've been quiet all night," she said softly. "Yeah," I replied. "Just tired." She sat beside me, her hand brushing my knee. "You know I was kidding earlier, right? Everyone jokes at those things." "Right," I said, watching the television's flickering light dance over her face. But Derek didn't look like he thought it was a joke. Her hand froze. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing," I said too quickly. "Forget it." She smiled, but her eyes didn't. The next few weeks were filled with small cracks, barely visible unless you looked closely. She'd leave early for errands, come home late smelling faintly of cologne that wasn't mine. Her phone buzzed often, and she always turned its screen down. I tried to ignore it, tried to believe her, until the night it rained. She said she was meeting her friend Julie for dinner, but Julie called me around 9, asking if Lena was okay. She'd cancelled last minute. My chest tightened. I grabbed my keys and drove without knowing where to go. Instinct led me to Derek's house. His lights were on, soft jazz playing faintly through the cracked window. My heart pounded so hard it drowned out the rain. Then I saw it, her car parked 2 houses down, half hidden behind a hedge. I sat there for a long time, engine idling, staring at that car. My breath fogged the glass. My mind spiraled between disbelief and fury, heartbreak and desperate denial. Could storm in. Could catch them. I could end it. But I didn't. Instead, I drove home, soaked and silent, feeling every drop of betrayal settle like lead in my chest. The next morning, she acted like nothing had happened, humming as she made coffee, wearing the same shirt she'd worn last night. "Sleep okay?" she asked. I stared at her, studying her face for any hint of shame. There was none. Only the practiced ease of someone who had become fluent in lying. "Yeah," I said. "You?" "Great," she smiled. Dinner with Julie ran late. I almost laughed at how effortless it sounded. Days passed. The pretense continued. But inside, something in me had shifted. I stopped reaching for her. Stopped asking questions. I began watching instead, quietly, carefully. Then one evening, fate delivered its own justice. We were hosting another neighborhood cookout, same lawn, same laughter. Lena stood near Derek again, drink in hand, wearing that bright, practiced smile. I stayed back, talking to another couple, but my attention was fixed on them. She joked again, too loudly, too flippantly. Honestly, if I could swap my husband for a man who actually takes vacations, I would. People chuckled politely. But Derek didn't smile this time. He stared at her, expression unreadable, before replying, "You should be careful what you wish for, Lena. Some trades don't come with warranties, and some buyers realized too late the product was already used." The silence was absolute. Every head turned. Lena's face went pale. The glass slipped from her hand and shattered on the patio. I didn't say a word. I just stood there, the truth gleaming between us like broken glass. Later, when the guests left, she found me in the kitchen, her voice trembling. "Did you tell him?" "No," I said. "But I think he finally realized what kind of person you are." Tears welled up in her eyes. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this. I didn't mean to." Cut her off. "You meant every choice you made. Every lie. Every night you thought I wouldn't notice." She sank against the counter, sobbing quietly. I stood there, watching the woman I'd loved crumble under the weight of her own deceit. Part of me wanted to comfort her. Another part wanted her to feel every ounce of pain she'd inflicted. "I never stopped loving you," she whispered. "Then you should have acted like it," I said. I walked out the door, the night air cool against my skin. For the first time in months I could breathe. The laughter from that first barbecue echoed faintly in my mind, but this time it didn't sting. It sounded like closure,